Okay, the room is
ready to go. Thank you. Okay, colleagues, we're ready to proceed with the executive session agenda for August 2nd, 2024. The first item is a consent calendar item, number 42. I'll turn to the director, Ms. Myers, to make a comment on this briefly.
Yes, thank you, Chair or Vice Chair. This is simply someone who filed a complaint, public meetings law complaint, but did not indicate they had met those mandatory prerequisites. So the commission is required to dismiss.
Okay. Colleagues, any questions for our director? Hearing and seeing none. Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I hereby move the commission approve the executive session consent calendar as presented.
Is that adequate? Thank you. The administrator will call the roll, please. Item number 42.
Commissioner Mason.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Thumbs up.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Newell.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiska.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you. We will now move to item number 43 involving Mr. John West. And I don't think Mr. West is due to be on by my count. Am I right? Okay, the process will be the same as usual. We will hear a report from our investigator first. Ms. Walker, please.
Thank you, Vice Chair Fiscom and Commissioners. For the record, this is Monica Walker, investigator for the Commission. Agenda item number 43 in your meeting books is a preliminary review report for an ethics case involving John West, Commissioner for the Josephine County Commissioners, the board. The complaint alleges that Mr. West may have attempted to use his official position to obtain a financial gain for a business with which he is associated and may have also failed to declare conflicts of interest. According to the complaint, Mr. West failed to disclose that a business in which he is listed as the president of owns property immediately adjacent to the property owned by the county during meetings in which the sale of the county property, known as Pipe Fork property, was discussed. Further, the complaint alleges Mr. West may have been involved in assessing and evaluating the value of the county-owned Pipe Fork property. From staff's review of the documentation gathered, Mr. West is listed as the registered agent and president of Cascade Land Holdings Incorporated on the Secretary of State Business Registry. County records indicate that Cascade Land Holdings Incorporated owns the property directly adjacent to the Pipe Fork property. As such, it appears that Cascade Land Holdings Incorporated is a business in which Mr. West is associated. From September 19th of 2023 through April 23rd of 2024, the board held 7 executive sessions in which they discussed the Pipe Fork property. The executive sessions were convened under ORS 192660, subsection 2, subsection E, to discuss and conduct deliberations with persons designated to negotiate real property transactions. For the meeting minutes, each session focused on 2 competing appraisals of the Pipe Fork property: a Yellow Book appraisal organized by the Conservation Fund and an appraisal conducted by Josephine County Forester Dave Streeter. Additionally, the meeting minutes reflect that Mr. West was in attendance at each of the 7 sessions and do not reflect that he ever declared any conflicts of interest prior to any of the sessions held. Additionally, given Mr. West's apparent association with Cascade Land Holdings Incorporated, it appears Mr. West may have also omitted required information from his 2023 and 2024 SEI reports, showing his business affiliation and or income received from Cascade Land Holdings Incorporated. Based on the information available in this preliminary review, there appears to be a substantial objective basis to believe that Mr. West may have committed 1 or more violations of the use of office, conflicts of interest, and statement of economic interest provisions of Oregon government ethics law. Therefore, the report that is in your meeting books recommends moving the case to investigation.
Thank you, investigator. Any questions for our investigator before we proceed? Seeing none at the moment, Mr. West has not indicated an intention to appear before us today. That's still accurate,
That's.
staff? Thank you. So the next step in our procedure is for us to discuss actions we might want to take. So I will throw that open to the floor for commissioners to make any comments about actions that they would anticipate through the motion. Hearing and seeing none, Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I hereby move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that John West may have violated ORS 244.040. Do I have to read all the ORSs? Okay, 244.040 sub 1, ORS 244.060, and ORS 244.120 sub 2. And that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Colleagues, any questions about the motion before us? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll. Item 43.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fisco.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you, colleagues. We'll move on to item 44 on the agenda involving Ms. Darby Ayers Flood, who intends to be here via Teams, if I'm right.
Commissioner 44 is combined with items 47 to 51.
So 44 is combined with items 47 through 51, and the individuals so involved have
245, 46, and 58.
first. Okay, let's move to item number 45, colleagues. Dolly, Mr. Stanley Miller, and then we'll come back to the others in a moment. We need to hear a report from our investigator who shall be called for the moment, Investigator McIntyre. Oh, get ready. Thank you.
So items 45, 46, and 58 will be heard together,
Okay,
and Ruth will begin letting them in the room now.
okay, and those individuals have
They have waived confidentiality.
confidential. Thank you very much. We'll wait for a moment to have the right persons admitted. Thank you. This is
It was very.
You're out
44.
of practice.
We're almost there.
What are the items again? 44 and what?
45, 46, and 58. Was very jumbled.
So we have number 45 and number 46 are both attending by phone.
By Teams?
So those are
Phone,
on
okay.
phone. So we've got Mr. Stanley Miller and Mr. Wayne Longworth.
Are we expecting somebody else?
58 was a maybe.
So you may not.
He
So-
may not be joining.
Okay, so we don't need to wait for him to join necessarily. Am I right?
Yeah, they have
Thank
waived.
you. Okay, colleagues, we will now hear the staff report from Investigator McIntyre for items 45 and on. One report for all those items. Director, am I accurate?
Yes.
Thank you. Investigator McIntyre, please.
Thank you, Vice Chair Priscum and Commissioners. This is Investigator Andrew McIntyre for the record. Agenda items 45, 46, and 58 are a preliminary review report for Stanley Miller, Wayne Longworth, and Eric Luttrell, Sunshine Acres Road District Commissioners. The complaint alleges a pattern of these commissioners of not following public meetings law. And according to the complaint, the specific violation in question happened on March 25th of 2024. That's when the district hired a road contractor, according to the complaint, without a public meeting. After speaking with each of the commissioners of the district, it does appear that sometime in March of 2024, two of the commissioners, Mr. Miller and Mr. Longworth, met without holding a public meeting, and they decided on who they were going to hire to fix the road surrounding the district. After that meeting, Mr. Miller called Mr. Luttrell, talked to him about the meeting specifically, which would constitute serial communication in that instance between the three of them. And then they hired a contractor to fix the road. The contractor fixed the road and was paid for the work. I do want to note that there was no official public meeting, but this is a small road district consisting of about 33 residents. It is a 3-member commission. Therefore, anytime 2 of these members get together who all live in the same area and they discuss the road at all, that would be considered a public meeting. So technically, it does appear that based on this information, there is a substantial objective basis to believe that the Sunshine Acres Road District Commissioners may have violated Oregon public meeting laws. The recommendation in your book is to investigate ORS 192630, ORS 192640, and ORS 192650. Thank you.
Thank you, investigator. Mr. Miller and Mr. Longworth, can you hear me? I believe you're on phones. Can you acknowledge you can hear me? Thank you very much. I could have said this before we just had the report from our investigator, but first of all, I'm Vice Chair David Fiscum for the commission. Welcome to this process. Thank you for your patience in joining us. On such matters as this, we always envision a 5-step process. The first step has just occurred, which is a report from our investigator. The second step allows us as commissioners to ask our investigator questions if we think we need further information. The third step will be to allow you to share any comments you choose to make to us, and we'll call on you in just a moment. The fourth step will be for us as commissioners to ask you questions if we need further information. And the fifth step will be a time for the commissioners to consider what action to take. So we'll move through all of those next 4 steps in the process. And as we do so, again, thank you for your patience. Colleagues, the next step is for you to ask any questions of our investigator based on the report that Investigator McIntyre just gave. Questions? Hearing and seeing none, unless I'm missing something. Thank you. Mr. Miller and Mr. Longworth, this is your chance to make any comments to us. You can both speak if you would choose to do so. One can speak for both. Please, as you start speaking, introduce yourself for the record. We'll be happy to listen to you. Thank you.
This is Mr. Miller. Do you hear me?
We can. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Do you have a letter from Mr. Weaver about this situation?
Yes, sir. We do have that letter, which was distributed to us yesterday, as I think, by email. So I know I and others have read it. So the answer is yes.
Okay. The problem is that these people have now sold the property and moved on. And that's a good thing. They threatened me. We did not have a public meeting because they threatened to shoot me. And if somebody's going to shoot you, would you have a public meeting? I don't think so. We now have had a public meeting, and it's on our Dropbox, which you have a link to. You're welcome to view it for this year.
Mr. Miller, thank you. Any further comments briefly?
Well, the other thing is that we now know that they chopped down 3 big trees up on public land up there that belongs to the county. And that guy, by the way, was shot up in Glide and killed. That's my comment about that. The county has other fish to fry, as I told Mr. McIntyre yesterday. They got fires to fight. They don't have time to deal with 3 trees or 4 trees that were chopped down.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Longworth, do you have any comments for us, please? Hearing none, we'll assume there are no comments. Any colleagues, any questions for Mr. Miller or Mr. Longworth in light of what's been said? Okay, the next step in our process is to decide what action to take as a commission, and I'm happy to have colleagues make any suggestions about how to approach this. Commissioner Newell, please.
When I find the unmute button, yes, I will. I appreciate the commissioners serving on this commission and doing the work that they're doing, and it being a small group, you know, in a one of our more rural counties, it can be really difficult to find people to serve on commissions like this. And I'm pleased that they stepped up to do that. I see moving forward on this as an opportunity for education and for greater knowledge of what's required when you do serve on a commission like this. So I would support moving into the next phase for the purpose of greater education on this matter.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from commissioners? I'll just make one quick comment here from the Vice Chair's perspective. This is another one of those issues that gives me a little sense of unease about being asked to insert ourselves into a local issue, which is very difficult for us to do and for us to resolve. I'm not arguing with Commissioner Newell's suggestion. I'm just saying that this, as is the case many times in my some years at the commission, that always gives me a sense of unease about inserting ourselves into such an issue as this, even though technically under law, we may have that obligation. Commissioner Burke, you have a comment? You're on mute.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm really concerned about the situation where this man was threatened with being shot. I've heard about this happening with other public entities and other meetings. And I'll be frank, if I were in that situation, I would be very wary of holding a public meeting in any body I might be serving on if I was threatened with my life. I just want to suggest, I don't know how one would start, but I would want to suggest to staff that maybe we consider some kind of a protocol when it can be demonstrated that violence or threatened violence was an issue in a board carrying out its legitimate function, when such violence might cause an issue with ethics laws, as possibly might be the case here. I'm not sure where to take it beyond that, but I thought it would be worth mentioning.
Thank you, Commissioner. The director has a comment for it, please.
Yes, thank you for that suggestion, Commissioner Burke. My understanding is that the person who has threatened has moved out of the district or sold their property, which one might help resolve that. But primarily what I would like to see is for us to work with these three road district commissioners to see what assistance and guidance we can provide to make the public meeting law process more effective for them, whether that is giving them some guidance on holding meetings by telephone or online. I realize they're in a rural community. It's a very small district. They have been before us before, not these three, but prior. And the problem is the way that the commission is set up. You have only 33 households in this district, and you have three commissioners. So if any two of those three are on a walk and talk about the road, you have a meeting. It's a problem. So we would like to work with them and find solutions to prevent these sort of complaints in the future.
Thank you, Director. I've exercised the chair's prerogative today and ask a question. I think I know the answer. The only way for is the only way for us to provide that kind of education for these individuals in the rural area to move this forward to investigation, or is there an alternative to that?
Well, we can provide a letter of advice, which may include the same, but I think it is more productive to move it to investigation and have the formal order. That way there is a record and a more formalized process.
Thank you. Colleagues, any other questions? And hearing and seeing none for the moment, I will allow there to be a motion from someone who chooses to make a motion. And it can be you, Commissioner Thompson, but if you're uneasy, I'll yield it's up to you.
Mr. Chair, having heard the conversation about education, I hereby move that the commission find there is substantial objective basis for believing that Stanley Miller may have violated ORS 192.630, ORS 192.640, and ORS 192.650, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Colleagues, questions for the maker of the motion? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll, please.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Newell.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscom.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you to Mr. Miller and Mr. Longworth. Thank you for being here today to meet with us.
We
We have
have to do the other
more-
two
more
votes
motions.
for the other two.
You have to do 58 and what else?
46.
46 and then
Well,
58.
thank you. Okay, we should do that before I make my next comment. Thank you very much. We'll now move and we can, and these persons have waived confidentiality. Say, please, Mr. Miller and Longworth, stay in the room. We'll assume that Investigator McIntyre has made the report.
Yes.
You want to make it again?
No, not necessary unless you
No.
have any further questions.
Thank you, colleagues. Any questions about this issue? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll. Item 46.
I need a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Thompson, would you make a motion, please? Get me out of the hot seat here. Thank you very much.
I hereby move that the commission find there is substantial objective basis for believing that Wayne Longworth may have violated ORS 192.630, ORS 192.640, and ORS 192.650, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, colleagues. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Newell.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner Mason.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscom.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you. Moving to item agenda number 58 on our executive session calendar. The investigator does not have to repeat his report. Commissioner Thompson.
Mr. Chair, I hereby move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Eric Luttrell may have violated ORS 192.630, ORS 192.640, and ORS 192.650, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Commissioner Thompson, the administrator will call the roll, please. Item 58.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner Mason.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner Newell.
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscom.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you. Again, Mr. Miller, Mr. Longworth, and Mr. Luttrell wasn't with us today necessarily. Thank you for being here. Just a quick comment. Please understand that what we have not done today is find that there is an ethics violation. This action we took will confirm the need for us to gather more information. The likelihood is that our staff will work with you to produce a letter of education, which will help you going forward. But understand that we have not found there to be a violation this morning. We're moving forward to get more information, and I want to thank you for your patience in sticking with us for these moments. Colleagues, any comments or questions on that score? Mr. Miller, Mr. Longworth, thank you for being here. We'll dismiss you unless you have any further comment. Our staff will be in touch with you. Thank you. Okay,
We're gonna remove them.
yeah, please.
Give me a second. here.
No, we'll be on pause while we prepare for the next agenda item, which is,
Okay, so we've dismissed that agenda item.
yes.
Now we're moving on to number
Let's be
44 and then number 47, 48, 49, 50, and 51.
Are they all in the same,
Yes, they
those
have.
are the same group,
So-
they've waived confidentiality?
They've waived confidentiality. And so the people that will be here with us are going to be Mayor Ayers Flood
Uh-huh,
and then committee members Perry Miller, Pestizo, and Palmeroff. Those are, so number 44, number 48, number 50, and number 51, and I'm going to let them in now. They've waived confidentiality.
thank you. Colleagues, did you follow that? A little complicated, but such is life. So we'll begin in a moment with item 44, and our staff will let us know when they're ready for us to proceed in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience. Yes, we have those four are now with us.
Okay, so we're going to be considering, and check me on this, 44, 47 through 51, all at the same time. And the individuals involved have waived confidentiality, so we can consider this even though we vote individually on the whole. Am I right? Okay, Ms. Ayers Flood and others, thank you for being with us today. My name is Dave Fiscum, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Commission. Let me just tell you how we're going to proceed today quickly, and thank you for your patience in sticking with us. The first step on these matters will be a report from our investigator. The second step will be for us as commissioners to ask our investigator questions if we need more information. The third step will be to allow you to speak to us in any way you choose to speak, either through a spokesperson or individually. Let me just emphasize, while we want to hear from you, we're also on a long agenda today, so we appreciate the precision of your comments when you choose to make them. The fourth step will be for us as commissioners to ask you questions if we need further information, and the fifth step will be the step for us to make a decision on the matters before us. So unless there are any questions about that, we'll proceed to step one, which is a report from our investigator, who will be, again, the distinguished Daniel Pacheco.
Thank you, Vice Chair Fiscum and Commissioners. This is Investigator Daniel Pacheco for the record. Agenda items 44 and 47 through 51 in your meeting book is a preliminary review report for the City of Talent City Council. The complaint alleges that on February 21st, the City Council held a public meeting and allowed in-person testimony, but refused to allow electronic testimony from Derek Mancy. In this case, Mr. Mancy had in fact submitted a speaker request form to provide electronic testimony in compliance with city rules. While there is no provision requiring public comment or testimony, ORS 192.670 subsection 3 provides that if a governing body allows for in-person public testimony, it must, to the extent reasonably possible, also allow public testimony by telephone or electronic means. In response to the complaint, both Mayor Ayers Flood and City Attorney Dave Lohman acknowledged the apparent violations of ORS 192.670. In an email to Mr. Mancy, Mayor Ayers Flood apologized for the error and asserted that the City Council will change its procedures going forward. Likewise, City Attorney Lohman reported that the city acquired new equipment to make online public testimony technologically possible. Based on the information available in this preliminary review, there appears to be a substantial objective basis to believe that the City of Talent City Council violated public meetings law at its February 21st regular meeting. The recommendation in your books is to move this case to investigation. Thank you.
Investigator, colleagues, any questions for our investigator? Hearing and seeing none, this is the time, Ms. Ayers Flood and colleagues, for you to make any comments you choose to make to us. And as you do that, please identify yourself for the record. Proceed when you're ready. Please.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Yeah, my name is Darby Ayers Flood. I serve talent as mayor for the record. Good morning, commissioners. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to speak. We don't have an organized who's going to be the speaker. I just wanted to come onto the record and say that I acknowledge and agree with the report by the investigator, and really appreciate the process that we've been through and the help that we've gotten along the way to correct the procedures that we have at the city level. We recognize the importance of not only these processes, but also, the importance of transparency. So I just wanted to go on the record to say that I concur with the investigator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr.
Oh, I wanted to
Pastisio,
add,
please,
if I
go
may,
ahead.
I wanted to add, we're also, we have been since this happened, and I got an update yesterday from the city manager that we're in the queue for the training. I believe we got a message yesterday from Brubaker, Chris Brubaker, saying that at the time that OGEC has completed the training, that we'll be notified that the training will become available to the city.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments. Mr. Pastisio, if I'm saying that right, and Ms. Ponomaroff, any comments for us beyond what the mayor has provided?
Sure, I'll
This is
comment.
Dave Pastisio. I don't have any comments thank you.
Thank you, sir, for being here. Anybody else? Ms. Ponomaroff, am
Yeah.
I saying that right? Thank you.
Yeah, Eleanor's fine. Can you hear me okay?
We can. Please
Great.
proceed.
Thanks. No, I just wanted to concur with what the mayor said. I was just going to add a little context. First of all, the commission has been a really great educational resource for us as volunteers. There's a lot of hoops to jump through. I think we had, in addition to COVID, we had the Labor Day fires we were recovering from. And quite frankly, I missed it. HB 2560, we really didn't know about it when it came about. And I'll just add that when COVID hit and we did go to remote, we were allowing public testimony remotely when some of our neighboring cities were not. And so I think just kind of the idea that we were ahead of the curve made us feel pretty confident that we were responding to our residents' needs, and as far as transparency and ability to give us feedback. So that's just a little bit of context of why I think this kind of slipped by us. And that's all. I just wanted to say thanks. Thanks for your work on this.
Thank you for your comments. Commissioners, in light of the comments, any questions for those who've testified this morning?
Would you like to ask Councilor Perry Miller?
Oh, is she here?
Yeah. Would you like to ask?
Ms. Perry Miller, are you here with us?
Hi, I am here. Can you all
Okay.
hear me?
Yes, we can, and I apologize for overlooking you. Do you have any quick comments for us before we decide how to proceed on this issue? Please, if you do, identify yourself for the record.
Thank you. My name is Colette Pare Miller, and I serve on the City Council in Talent. I don't have anything additional to add. I concur with what the mayor said and the context that Councilor Ponomaroff is also important. And I just want to thank you for allowing us to be part of this process. And also, it's wonderful to see Susan Myers in person. She's been a huge help to me personally. So thank you all.
Thank you for your comments. Commissioners, any questions for those who are appearing before us today on these matters? Now's the time. Hearing and seeing none, this is the time now for us to take action on these matters. They will be taken individually, item 44, and then 47 through 51. Commissioner Thompson, if you're ready.
Sure, I just have a quick question.
Please.
Either for the investigator or for the executive director, but listening to the testimony of the mayor and the city councilors, it sounds like they know they made a mistake and they're correcting it and they're signed up for the training. I'm just curious, if we move to investigation, what we accomplish.
Director, please.
As with any case, it establishes a record that there was a violation, and we would, if this moved to investigation, most likely do an immediate stipulated for a life education. The training that they're signed up for is the new public meetings law training. I certainly, in this case, agree. I mean, Darby and Colette frequently call with questions or email with questions. In this case, ORS 192670, the provision that was violated is a new provision. So I understand why they would have been in this meeting and not known about it. It didn't get a lot of attention or press. So, but it is a clear requirement in the public meetings law. So I would argue that we would move to investigation and have a letter of education or a training requirement and then work with them to make sure as other matters come up that they call us.
Thank you.
Commissioner, any other questions? Colleagues, any other questions for investigator, for those who testified, for the director? Hearing and seeing none, the time is now for action. Commissioner Thompson, are you prepared to make a motion?
I am, unless one of my fellow commissioners is prepared.
Good comment. Hearing and seeing no hands
Okay.
raised, Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair,
This pertains to item 44.
Mr. Chair, I hereby move that the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Darby Ayers Flood may have violated ORS 192-670 and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Any comments on the motion before us, colleagues? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll. Item 44.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason.
Aye.
Aye.
Vice Chair Fisco.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you. We'll now move to item number
47.
47. We will dispense with the presentation of the investigator's report unless I'm wrong, investigator.
Things the same.
Thank you. Okay, I believe we're probably ready for a motion on item 47, involving Nicole Greider.
Mr. Chair, I hereby move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Nicole Greider may have violated ORS 192-670 and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you. Colleagues, questions? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fisco.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
We'll move to item number 48 involving Ms. Colette Parry-Miller. The investigator does not need to repeat his report. Commissioner Thompson.
Mr. Chair, I hereby move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Colette Parry-Miller may have violated ORS 192-670 and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
You colleagues, any questions? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll, please.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fisco.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Move colleagues to item number 49 involving Ms. Anna Byers. The investigator did not have to repeat the report. I'll turn to Commissioner Thompson for a motion, item 49.
I hereby move that the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Anna Byers may have violated ORS 192-670 and the commission should investigate accordingly.
The administrator will call the roll, please. Item 49.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fisco.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Turning to item number 50, the investigator does not have to repeat the report. I will turn to Commissioner Thompson, please. Item 50.
Mr. Chair, I hereby move that the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that David Postizo may have violated ORS 192-670 and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
You colleagues, the administrator will call the roll. Item 50.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
And colleagues, item 51, the investigator does not have to repeat the report. Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I hereby move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Eleanor Ponomareff may have violated ORS 192-670 and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Administrator will call the roll, please.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason.
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you, colleagues. That concludes the items involving the City of Talent. Just a couple of quick comments. One, for those from the City of Talent, thank you for being with us today and for your comments. We appreciate the tone, character, and content of those comments. Please understand that the motion that was made with regard to each of you, there's a word that's very important there. The word is may have violated. We're not saying you have violated. We're moving forward to get more information and to work with you on a consensus result here. So in that spirit, thank you for being here. We appreciate your participation. Director, any comments?
No, just that we will work with you to find the appropriate resolution.
Our staff will be in touch with you again. Thank you for your appearance, and with all due respect to you, we'll move you out of our hearing room. Thank you.
Thank you.
In a moment, we'll move to item 5.2.
So the prior have been dismissed. So item 5.2 will not be appearing.
Right. This involves Mr. Don Loving, and he will not be appearing today. So this is item 5.2 on our executive session agenda. Director Myers, please.
Okay, Investigator Sullivan.
Investigator Sullivan.
Yes, it is.
The initials are wrong on our agenda. I apologize. Maybe my agenda is outdated. Please proceed. Thank you.
This is, no problem. Thank you, Vice Chair Fiscum and Commission. This is Investigator Josh Sullivan. For the record, I'm presenting agenda item number 52. This is a complaint against Don Loving, former board chair of the Chehalem Parks and Recreation District. The complaint in this case alleges that Mr. Loving may have violated ORS 244040 by using his position as board chair for financial gain. ORS 2440401 prohibits a public official from using or attempting to use their official position to obtain a financial gain or avoid a financial detriment for themselves, their relatives, or household members, or any business which they, their relatives, or household members are associated if the financial gain or avoidance of financial detriment would not otherwise be available but for holding of their office. In this case, as a CPRD board member from 2005 to 2023, Mr. Loving appears to have used the storage bay at the Chehalem Glen Golf Course free of charge to store a golf bag, golf shoes, and walking cart, etc. Which may have provided him a financial gain or avoidance of detriment. The use of this storage space appears to have been based on a verbal agreement between Mr. Loving and the golf course when it opened in 2006. The storage bays were not available to the general public, and by using the storage bay, Mr. Loving did not have to pay the fair market value of a storage facility and did not have to pay transportation costs of his golfing equipment. CGG, the golf course's insurance may also may have had some responsibility to cover certain losses of Mr. Loving's items. The storage of golfing equipment did not fall under one of the exceptions to the ORS. Specifically, the use of the storage bay was not approved by the public body and part of Mr. Loving's official compensation package, and there was no written policy authorizing board members to store their equipment at the golf course bays. Based on the information available in the preliminary review, there appears to be a substantial objective basis to believe Mr. Loving violated ORS 2440401 and a prohibited use of office. The recommendation is to move this case to investigation.
Thank you, investigator. Any questions for our investigator, Investigator Sullivan? Please, now's the time. Ms. Newell, Commissioner Newell, please ask your question. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I found the answer in here, but can you clarify for me and confirm that the golf course is part of the Parks and Rec district? Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, they're
It's
associated.
not a private golf course with a public official. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Loving is not appearing before us. I want to call your attention to the fact that he did send a letter in light of his inability to appear today. So I will presume you have read that, as I have read that. This is now the time for commission discussion about options for proceeding with regard to this matter. Item number 5.2 on our executive session agenda. Comments from commissioners? I would just tell you from my, not stepping in anybody else's line, I would tell you that this is another matter which gives me some mixed emotions about how to proceed in light of Mr. Loving's letter, which I thought was helpful for background for me. I'm happy to yield to a commission decision here, not to specify one from my standpoint as your vice chair, but I am, as always, hesitant to inject ourselves into a local issue where there may be strong feelings on multiple sides that don't necessarily imply an ethics issue necessarily. That's just my gut reaction. Comments, commissioners? Any thoughts, Commissioner Thompson?
I tend to agree with you. I feel like this Newberg case just keeps coming back over and over and over. So the fact that Mr. Loving is no longer a board member, and I read his response, all of that weighs heavily on me. I'm not sure there's much to be gained here by moving forward, but I will defer to my fellow commissioners if somebody else wishes to make a motion.
Director, please.
The fact that he's not a board member, it weighed on me when the complaint was received. My problem is that he had been given the key to this storage room years ago in his role as a board member, had been using it. Now, arguably, all those years he was using it, it could have been a prohibited use of office even then, but most of that is prior to our jurisdiction. But he gets voted out. He doesn't turn in the key. He continues using the storage bay as a private citizen that no one else would have an opportunity to do so. His having that opportunity was because when he was a board member, he was given this key and he didn't turn it in. And that was a continuation of his position.
Colleagues, any questions for our executive or our investigator or both? Any summary of how you would suggest we proceed? Either make a motion or suggest the possibility of a motion. I'm open to any comments from my colleagues. Hearing and seeing none for the moment. Pardon me, Ms. Newell, Commissioner Newell, please. I just saw your hand. Thank you.
Like Commissioner Thompson, I kind of struggle with this issue and like these actions, and it does seem like there is a long history in this community of interactions between these folks, and Commissioner Fiscum, your notation on it that it's a local issue that maybe we shouldn't get involved in is well taken on this one. At the same time, it looks like this person gained several $1,000s through their action over the course of years, though the time period that, as Director Myers pointed out, that time period of from when he resigned the post until now does also weigh in. I would lean towards moving forward with this, just resolving this issue by moving forward into the next phase and investigation of possible violations.
Comments, other commissioners to Commissioner Newell's commentary? Thank you for making your comments, by the way. Any other comments? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we're ready for a motion. Mr. Thompson, want to make a motion, or Commissioner Newell, anybody, please? Commissioner Newell, you prepared to make a motion?
All right. I don't have a motion script in front of me, so we'll see if I can fumble through this. I move that the commission move to investigate possible violations of ORS 244040 sub 1 by Don Loving.
Director, is that adequate? Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Any comments from commissioners about the motion made by Commissioner Newell? Comments? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll, please, on item 5.2 on our executive session agenda.
Commissioner Thompson.
It is.
What do you want to be? First or last?
Very hesitant, yes.
Commissioner Newell.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner Mason.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
A very hesitant aye.
0.
And part of my comment on that would be that as much as there may be a technical violation here that Commissioner Newell has outlined, this doesn't strike me as a quote ethical violation of the sort that we ought to be occupying ourselves with as a matter of routine. There being other issues that are more important than this, in my humble judgment. That said, I will go with the flow and we'll presume we can resolve this fairly quickly, Director. Thank you, colleagues. We will now pause for me to ask a comment about whether you want to keep forging ahead or whether you want to have, as a previous commissioner used to say, a bio break.
I'm fine moving forward.
What do you want to do, Commissioner Thompson, since you're my aide today?
Let's keep going for a little bit longer.
All right. Okay, we will now move to, by the way, yeah,
Number 15, agenda
Okay.
number 15.
just for the record, and if this is an old agenda, I apologize, but the items 53 through 57 have been moved to a later commission meeting. So if you have an old agenda and wondered about that, we got a note that those have been moved off to the next meeting. So that said, we will now move to item 59 involving the city of Boardman, and Ms. Baumgartner is preparing to appear before us. Am that right, by phone? Okay, we'll wait for her arrival.
Mr. Fiscum, that's fine as well.
I just saw that. I've got multiple lists going back, just so you know. I have to be cross-eyed to see them all at the same time.
Okay, and our respondent Heather Baumgartner is with us.
Thank you. Ms. Baumgartner, welcome today. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
And we can hear you. Thank you for being here. My name is Dave Fiscum. I'm the vice chair of the commission. Let me just give you a quick little summary of how we're going to proceed today. The first step in this matter will be a report from our investigator. The second step will allow us as commissioners to ask questions of that investigator if we need more information. The third step will be to allow you to share any comments you choose to make to us on the record. We're happy to receive those. The fourth step will be for us as commissioners to ask you questions if we need more information. And the fifth step will be a time for the commission to make a decision on this matter before us. So that's how we're going to proceed today. Thank you for being with us. And the first step will be a report from Investigator Sullivan, please.
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair Fiscum and Commission. This is Investigator Josh Sullivan for the record. I'm presenting agenda item number 59. This is a complaint against Heather Baumgartner, City Councilor for the City of Boardman. The complaint in this case, it alleges that Ms. Baumgartner may have violated the conflict of interest statute by failing to disclose an actual or potential conflict of interest in her role as City Councilor. Actual and potential conflicts of interest are defined in ORS 244020 as arising when a public official acting in their official capacity participates in any action, decision, or recommendation, the effect of which would be or could be to the financial benefit or detriment of the public official, a relative, or any business with which the public official or relative is associated. The difference between an actual and a potential conflict of interest rests on the certainty of the impact that will result from the decision, recommendation, or action being taken. In this case, Ms. Baumgartner owns a business called Boardman Jumpstart Java. There is another business coffee shop in the city of Boardman called Cafe Cultura, which has made a request to the city planner proposing to use a shipping container for a new drive-through coffee stand. Boardman does not currently allow shipping containers for this purpose due to the building codes. During a city council meeting on April 2nd, Ms. Baumgartner voted against changing building codes to allow shipping container use in commercial zones. Ms. Baumgartner also made a statement opposing the use of shipping containers. However, the meeting materials did not mention anything about Cafe Cultura's pending request for the drive-through coffee stand, and Ms. Baumgartner was not aware of Cafe Cultura's request. Furthermore, there was no foreseeable, tangible financial benefit from permitting shipping containers as a building material, which would affect Ms. Baumgartner or her business, for which she would need to declare a conflict of interest. There's insufficient information to conclude that Ms. Baumgartner violated ORS 244020 by failing to disclose a conflict of interest, nor is there sufficient evidence that she violated the prohibited use of office statutes for her financial gain. Therefore, the report in your meeting books recommends that this matter be dismissed.
Investigator, any questions for Investigator Sullivan from commissioners? Now is your time to ask them. Hearing and seeing none, Ms. Baumgartner, this is your time to make any comments you choose to make to us. Please, if you choose to make a comment, make it as precise and brief as you can possibly do, and identify yourself for the record.
Hi, this is Heather Baumgartner. I have no comments to make. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. Colleagues, this is the time when we could decide what action to take. I'm looking for discussion or motion. Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Heather Baumgartner has violated provisions of Oregon government ethics law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions about the motion you've just heard? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll, please.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Newell.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner Mason.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Ms. Baumgartner, the action by the commission today has been to dismiss this matter. Thank you for your patience in staying with us for this agenda, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. You guys all have a great day.
Thank you. We'll now move
Okay,
to.
hang
item number 60 in a moment, as soon as Ms. Baumgartner has been dismissed and Mr. Bush has been entered. So we'll pause to our staff, till our staff is ready for us.
Okay, so yeah, item 60, we're hearing on its own, item 60, and
Yes.
Mr. Bush is now joining us.
Mr. Bush is, I think, joining by teams, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, he should be with us now.
Mr. Bush, can you hear me?
I can.
Thank you. We can hear you too. This is Dave Fiscum. I'm the Vice Chair of the Oregon Government Ethics Commission. This is the time set to hear your matter. Thank you for your patience in joining us. The process will be as follows: 5 steps. The first step will be to receive a report from our investigator. The second step will allow us as commissioners to ask the questions of our investigator. The third step will be to allow you to make any comment you choose to make to us. The fourth step will be for us as commissioners to ask questions of you. And the fifth step will be our decision time on this matter. Mr. Bush, thank you for being here. We can now see you visually, so we appreciate it. That said, the investigator is Mr. Pacheco.
Thank you, Vice Chair Fiscum and Commissioners. This is Investigator Daniel Pacheco for the record. Agenda item 60 in your meeting book is a preliminary review report for Eric Bush, a member of the Grant County Digital Coalition. The complaint states that Mr. Bush and another member of the coalition violated public meetings law when they attended a special meeting that had been canceled, and asserts that the gathering constituted a quorum. ORS 192.630 subsection 2 provides that a quorum of a governing body may not meet in private for the purpose of deciding on or deliberating toward a decision on any matter except as otherwise provided by ORS 192.610 to ORS 192.705. Based on the information gathered, there is no dispute that 2 members representing the coalition met on March 26 and did engage in discussions relating to the board's decision-making process concerning a dissolution plan. However, it does not appear that the staff meeting on March 26 was a public meeting per ORS 192.610 sub 7 sub A, which first provides that a quorum is required. In this case, it appears that the coalition had 4 members at the time of the meeting, meaning that a quorum would require 3 coalition members to be present. Commission staff note that the coalition's staff meeting could be viewed by the public as an attempt to hold private discussions and bypass public meetings law. Notwithstanding this fact, it does not appear that the staff meeting on March 26 involved a quorum of the board, or that the staff meeting participants used either electronic communications or an intermediary to communicate with the quorum of the board. Based on the information available in this preliminary review, there does not appear to be a substantial objective basis to believe that Mr. Bush violated public meetings law. The recommendation in your book is to dismiss. Thank you.
Investigator, any questions from commissioners for the investigator? Hearing and seeing none, Mr. Bush, this is your chance to make any comments to you, to us that you choose to make. So then if you choose to make comments, then identify yourself for the record and proceed. Thank you.
Well, good morning, Vice Chair, Commissioners, and staff. Thanks for the opportunity to let me speak just real briefly. I've reviewed the report, and I think the Commission has this well in hand. I really don't have anything substantive to add other than just to reiterate what was written in the report about my previous written comments, that I appreciate the work that the Commission does and in maintaining and building trust with the public. I think this is an important process, and I just want to thank you for your time in this, regardless of how this goes.
Thank you, Mr. Bush. Any questions for Mr. Bush from commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, are you ready for a motion, Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the commission find that the complaint and the information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Eric Bush violated public meetings law provisions or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll, please.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Newell.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner Mason.
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Mr. Bush, again, this matter has been dismissed by our action today. Thank you for appearing with us and for your patience in waiting your turn. We appreciate your participation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to a related item in a moment. Mr. Bush will be removed from the meeting and
Mr. Bush has been dismissed.
Mr. Myers on item 61 is not appearing. Am I right?
Mr. Myers is not appearing.
Correct. Okay, we'll move to item number 61. I will presume that Investigator Pacheco does not need to repeat his report.
It's a condensed version. I can read it if you
please.
All right. Thank you, Vice Chair Fiscum and Commissioners. This is Investigator Daniel Pacheco for the record. Agenda item 61 in your meeting books is a preliminary review report for Scott Myers, a member of the Grant County Digital Coalition. The complaint states that Mr. Myers, another member of the coalition, violated public law when they attended a special meeting that had been canceled and asserts that the gathering constituted a quorum. In this case, it does not appear that the staff meeting on March 26 was a public meeting per RS 192.610 sub 7 sub A, which provides that a quorum is first required. Based on the information available in this preliminary review, there does not appear to be a substantial objective basis to believe that Mr. Myers violated public meetings law. The recommendation in your books is to dismiss. Thank you.
Investigator, seeing no questions, Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and the information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Scott Myers has violated provisions of public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Thank you. Hearing and seeing no questions, Administrator will call the roll, please. Item number 61.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you, colleagues. Let's keep forging ahead unless anybody raises their hand to suggest an alternative. The next items on our agenda, and our staff will help coordinate this for us. Items 62 through 67 all deal with Clatsop County. Two individuals in that list have indicated an intent to appear on Teams. Have these individuals,
These two people are.
Neil Bond and Darlene Warren, the others have provided the proper indication that they can be heard together?
Yes.
Thank you. We will act on these all individually after hearing from respectively Mr. Bond on item number 62, and then we'll proceed through and eventually hear the number 67, right? And Ms. Warren is the other person who has indicated an intent to appear. So that said, this is Investigator Walker's items 62 through 67. Please proceed.
If I may clarify, Alex Cabalona requested to be on by phone.
They haven't joined yet.
Okay.
We're working on trying to contact them.
Thank you, Investigator. That's helpful. Please proceed.
Thank you, Vice Chair Fiscum and Commissioners. For the record, this is Monica Walker, investigator for the commission. Item numbers 62 through 67 in your meeting books are preliminary review reports for the board members of the Clatsop County School District. As all respondents have provided a confidentiality waiver and their cases are the same, with the chair's permission, I will present these cases together.
Please.
Thank you. The complaint in these matters concerns a regular board meeting the board held on April 10th of 2024. The complaint alleges that the board denied a member of the public the opportunity for public comment, violating the provisions of public meetings law. In staff's review of the meeting materials and documentation received, it appears that the board received the complaint's written grievance within 30 days of the April 10th meeting, and that they provided a response on May 6th of 2024, providing a copy of the board's policies regarding public comments made verbally or in writing at board meetings, thus meeting the requirements for the commission to open a preliminary review to the complaint. ORS 192-630 subsection 1 provides that all open and regular meetings of the governing body of a public body shall be open to the public, and all persons shall be permitted to attend. Based on the information and documentation gathered, it appears that the April 10th board meeting was open to the public, and all persons, including the complainant, were permitted to attend. Further, even so, the statute provides the public a right to attend public meetings, it does not require a governing body to allow members of the public to provide public comment or public testimony. Additionally, the Attorney General's Public Meetings Manual advises the right of public attendance guaranteed by the Public Meetings Law does not include the right to participate by public testimony or comment. In this case, the complainant voluntarily chose to leave the meeting. If the complainant had remained in the meeting, it appears that public comment would have been permitted, subject to the limitations in the board's policies. Based on the information gathered in this preliminary review, the board does not appear to have violated public meetings law. Therefore, the report in your meetings books recommends dismissal of the complaint.
Thank you, investigator. Mr. Bond, are you with us? Just acknowledge by your voice so we can hear you.
Yes, I am, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Warren, are you with us? Darlene Warren, or can you hear?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. And also Alex Caballona, are you on by phone?
But we've contacted Alex and they will not be joining the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Director, can we hear the other individual on this matter, or should we wait till her item comes up? Ms. Warren, who's number 67. We just had 62 before us.
Wait, so they can all be heard together.
They'll be heard together.
Okay. So Ms. I could have said this earlier. I'll say it now to Mr. Bond and Ms. Warren. The first step as we consider this, by the way, my name is Dave Fiscum and I am the Vice Chair of the Commission. Welcome today. We appreciate your patience in joining us at this particular moment. The first step for us is what has already occurred, which is a report from our investigator. The second step, which we'll now engage in a moment, will allow us to ask questions of our investigator. The third step will be allow you to share any comments you choose to share with us on the record. The fourth step will be for us as commissioners to ask you questions if we have questions. And the last step will be a decision by the commission. That said, this is any questions for our investigator from commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, Mr. Bond, please feel free to speak to us for a moment. And if you choose to do so, identify yourself for the record. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Neil Bond, current board chair for the Warrenton-Hammond School District. Just like to take this opportunity to say that we in no way denied anybody from providing public comment. We followed our policy and procedures. The individual left and chose not to provide public comment. Had she stayed, we absolutely would have let her provide public comment. We did want to make sure that she did follow the proper policy, where she was allowed 3 minutes and, cannot bring up any names or anything like that specifically. So appreciate you guys looking into this. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. There may be questions for you in a moment, but we'll first turn to Ms. Warren and ask you to make any comments for the record you choose to make, and please do so now.
Thank you. This is Darlene Warren, and I'm a current board member. And I agree with what Board Chair Neil has stated.
Thank you. Any questions for those who testified today from commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, the time is now for action. Any comments from commissioners on what action we could or should take? Hearing and seeing none, Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Neil Bond has violated provisions of Oregon Public Meetings Law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Okay, Commissioner, any questions from the commissioners about the motion? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll. Item 62.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye. Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you. We'll move to item number 63, assuming the investigator does not have to repeat the report.
The report is.
She nods. The report is been given. Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Tabitha McGorty has violated Oregon Public Meetings Law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Thank you. Seeing no questions, the administrator will call the roll. Item 63, please.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
You will move to item number 64, assuming the investigator's report stands as given.
It is the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Thompson, please, item 64.
Chair, I move that the commission find the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Alex Cabalona has violated provisions of public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
The administrator will call the roll. Item 64.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Item 65, the investigative report will stand, excuse me, as given. Mr. Thompson, please.
Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Len Mossman violated public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
The administrator will call the roll. Item 65.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Item number 66, we will assume the investigative report will stand as given. Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Mark Simonson has violated provisions of public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Thank you. The administrator will call the roll, please.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
And we will now move to item number, issue number 67, assuming the investigative report stands as given. She nods her head in the affirmative. Mr. Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Darlene Warren has violated provisions of public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Administrator will call the roll, please.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Colleagues, we'll keep forging ahead with your indulgence.
So that's number 6.
Yes, so we're now down to 68.
So we're gonna dismiss Mr. Bond and Ms. Warren?
Yes.
Oh, please, thank you for your diligence. Thank you for appearing before us, and we appreciate your patience. Your items have been dismissed. Thank you, Mr. Bond and Ms.
Mr.
Warren.
Vice Chair,
Please.
Mr. Vice Chair, this is Neil Bond. I just have a quick question. Was just tracking this, was board member Dan Jackson, was he also voted on during this?
Board member, and I believe it was because we understood he was not present at that meeting.
Okay. Memory serves, I'm not sure. I just want to make sure he had the same results as the rest of us. So thank you for that.
Thank you for your question, and thank you for your appearance today. We'll dismiss you from the meeting, and thank you for your patience with our agenda today.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we will Thank you, and we'll wait for all that to occur before we move to item number 68. And we'll hold for a second. Mr. Christensen is not appearing based on the summary I have. So are the two gone?
They have been dismissed there.
Okay, good. We will now move to item number 68 involving Mr. Nathan Christensen, and our investigator for this matter is Investigator McIntyre.
Thank you, Vice Chair Fiscum and Commissioners. This is Investigator Andrew McIntyre for the record. Agenda item number 68 is a preliminary review for Nathan Christensen, a Budget Committee member for the City of Independence. The complaint in this matter alleged that Mr. Christensen violated Oregon government ethics laws when he failed to recuse himself from discussion and voting at a May 8th, 2024 City of Independence budget meeting. Basis for this is that Mr. Christensen is part of the budget or participated in the budget discussions, and part of that discussion was related to the Independence Heritage Museum. And Mr. Christensen's wife is an employee for that museum. I do want to make a note that Mr. Christensen contacted OGEC staff prior to the meeting and sought advice. And based on the information that was provided to our staff, Mr. Christensen was advised that he did have a potential conflict of interest. He would need to declare that conflict at the meeting, but he could in fact participate in the discussion. Review of the video of the meeting, Mr. Christensen followed that advice. At the start of the meeting, he declared his potential conflict of interest, including stating the nature of the conflict. Mr. Christensen does not appear to have been faced with an actual conflict of interest because nothing discussed at the meeting would have had a direct financial impact on his relative, his wife. And all of the items discussed though appear that they would have a financial impact on the museum, that is not necessarily relevant because the museum is a government body and therefore would not be considered a business with which Mr. Christensen or his wife is associated. Further, it does not appear that Mr. Christensen took any action in his official position to financially impact himself or his wife's specific position. Therefore, based on the information available during this preliminary review, the recommendation in your book is to dismiss the case.
Thank you, investigator. Any questions for our investigator from commissioners? Now's the time. Hearing and seeing none. Mr. Christensen is not appearing before us, so it's time for us to make a decision. Looking around, I will call on Commissioner Thompson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during the preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Nathan Christensen has violated provisions of Oregon government ethics law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll, please.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Colleagues, we will now move to item number 69 involving Mark Shepard from the city of Corvallis, who has indicated to us he will be on the phone. I'm going to wait and see if he is actually, if we can access, if he can access us.
Okay, let's see.
Just pause for a second and get organized again. Thank you to our staff for doing this work.
Our staff is trying to call him right now.
Okay.
We have not heard from him.
I did email him, letting him know we're had a schedule here
Okay.
to expect.
I'd like Mr. Investigator Pacheco's remark to be inserted in the record, please.
It is on the record. We're all being recorded.
Objection, Your Honor.
No one cares what you think or say anyway.
Hold on.
You are keeping us
So,
ahead of schedule today.
Miss, Chair, Vice Chair Fiscum?
Yes,
We do have someone who has joined as an unidentified guest. Can we admit them and confirm who it is?
please
Thank you.
do that, and then we won't proceed until we know.
Okay,
Thank you.
so we're gonna admit guest.
Hello, we just admitted someone as a guest to the meeting. Could you please identify yourself? Otherwise, you'll have to be removed from the meeting. We are in an executive session. Answer that. We did call him and he did not answer.
Who, Mr. Shepherd?
Mr. Shepherd, yeah.
Can we
I
proceed?
think we can proceed.
I agree. Okay, we'll now move to item number 69. We'll call on our investigator, Mr. Pacheco, please.
Thank you, Vice Chair Fiscum and Commissioners. This is Investigator Daniel Pacheco for the record. Agenda item 69 in your meeting book is a preliminary review report for Mark Shepherd, City Manager for the City of Corvallis. The complaint in this case asserts that Mr. Shepherd has supervision of the Rock Creek Stewardship Plan Task Force, an advisory committee for the city. The complaint alleges that Mr. Shepherd violated public meetings law on March 27th when two task force members discussed meeting with city staff to create a meeting agenda. The complaint also alleges a second violation on April 4th when two task force members met with city staff to create the next meeting agenda. Based on the information gathered, it does not appear that Mr. Shepherd is a member of the governing body or that he attended the meetings in the complaint. Most importantly, as a city manager, Mr. Shepherd is not a member of the task force and thus is not responsible for compliance with public meetings law provisions in ORS 192.610 to ORS 192.705. Based on the information available in this preliminary review, there does not appear to be substantial objective basis to believe that Mr. Shepherd violated public meetings law. The recommendation in your books is to dismiss. Thank you.
Questions for our investigator? Thank you, investigator. Hearing and seeing none.
Okay, well, so it
Please.
appears that Mr. Shepherd has joined our waiting room. So,
Admit him, please. And we'll have a brief comment for him in a moment. We'll pause. Mr. Shepherd, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Thank you. The voice you heard is Dave Fiscum, the Vice Chair of the Oregon Government Ethics Commission. This is the time set to hear the item before us involving you. We've just heard a report from our investigator, which is the first step in this process. There were no questions for that investigator from us as commissioners. This is now your time to make any comments that you choose to make to us. If you choose to make comments, identify yourself for the record, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. So I am Mark Shepherd, City Manager, City of Corvallis. I don't have anything to add. I have reviewed the report and I have nothing to add there. I agree with the findings.
Thank you, Mr. Shepherd, for your patience in joining us today. Colleagues, any discussion from commissioners about how to proceed? Hearing and seeing none. Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute substantial objective basis for believing that Mark Shepherd violated provisions of public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Commissioner, any questions about the motion before us? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Mr. Shepherd, the decision that we just made is to dismiss the complaint involving your name for you. Thank you for being with us and for your patience today. The matter has been dismissed. And he now appears to be gone.
okay, well, we're gonna remove.
Yeah.
You will be dismissed. There we go.
Okay, 10:45 almost. Colleagues, we have two choices: to forge through the rest of the executive session agenda or to take a bio break. I'm open to suggestions.
Let's power through.
Just have the next group is all together, and then there's one behind.
I agree. Then there's one additional item beyond the ones.
Great.
Okay, let's forge ahead, colleagues. We will now consider items 70 through 74. As I understand it, there are two individuals who,
So these two are joining by teams and they're in the same room. They're joining.
and all of these individuals have waived confidentiality. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay, colleagues, this is the time to consider, we'll do so individually in terms of our vote, but items 70 through 74 involving the city of Jervis. I live in Salem, so I should know how to pronounce Jervis, shouldn't I? Thank you very much for smiling at me. My name is Dave Piscom. I'm the vice chair of the Ethics Commission. This is the time to consider your matter for us. There'll be 5 steps in our process. The first is a report from our investigator. The second is questions from commissioners for the investigator. The third is comments from you as you choose to make them to us. The fourth will be for us to ask you questions if we have any questions. And the fifth will be a decision that we choose to make as commissioners. So that said, I will turn to investigator Fenstermaker for a report on all of these matters together, since all the individuals have waived confidentiality.
That is correct. Thank you, Vice Chairman Piscom. Commissioners, my name is Casey Fenstermaker. Items 70 through 74 in your meeting books are preliminary review reports for current and former members of the City Council of Jervis. The complainant in this matter asserted that the City Council violated public meetings law by failing to give proper notice of a meeting held on April 26, 2024, by discussing the employment of the city manager during executive session and by failing to allow for public input regarding the employment of the city manager. During the preliminary review, the information we reviewed indicates that the meeting notice was posted to the city's calendar and the city's website more than 24 hours before the meeting was held, and the meeting notice included the agenda consistent with public meetings law requirements. With respect to the complaint regarding what was discussed during the executive session on April 26, 2024, it appears that the discussion was limited to a legal memo containing legal advice and analysis created by the city's attorney. It appears that the city council appropriately noticed the executive session, limited the executive session discussion, the legal memo, and questions about the advice presented in that legal memo. Regarding the allegation that the city council failed to allow for public input regarding the employment of the city manager, the public meetings law does not generally require that the public be permitted to provide public comment or public testimony. One exception is in ORS 192.6607D, which provides that before a governing body can hold an executive session under ORS 192.6602A to discuss hiring an employee, the public body must satisfy certain prerequisites, including providing public comment. However, because the city didn't convene the executive session under that provision, it appears that they limited the discussion to the legal memo and questions related to it. The city was not required to accept public comment. Therefore, there is insufficient information to conclude that the city council violated the public meetings law during its April 26, 2024 executive session and public meeting. The reports included in your meeting books recommend that each of these matters be dismissed.
Thank you, investigator. Any questions for our investigator on all of these matters 70 through 74? Hearing and seeing none, this is our time to consider the decision. We will consider such a decision with regard, we have two individuals who have indicated a desire to be on Microsoft Teams and perchance will want to make comments to us. Ms. Gilliland and Mr. Ladd. I presume they're online now.
In that room.
Please, if you choose to make comments to us, thank you for waving at us. Can you hear me? We can't hear you because you're on mute. Unmute yourself and we'll watch for that. Thank you.
Art, can you hear us now?
You can hear now. So Ms. Gilliland, is that you're the one who's speaking, right?
Correct.
And Mr. Ladd, is that you who waved at us? If it was, thank you. This is your chance to make any comments you choose to make to us, and we're pressed for time today. No offense to you or anybody else. We have a long agenda, so this is your chance to make any comments to us. If you choose to do so, identify yourself for the record. Thank you for being here.
I'm Annie Gillen, former mayor of Jervis, Oregon. I'd just like to thank you for your time. I'm sorry that this has come before you. I respectfully hope that you will dismiss it because there is no merit to it whatsoever. This same person has turned me in 3 times. I've come before you. This is the 3rd time. There was a 4th attempt that didn't come through. So I just would like to say thank you again for your time, and I hope you'll dismiss. That's it. If you have any questions of me, I'm grateful to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ladd, any comments from you?
Pretty much the same thing she said. This one lady keeps turning us in for stuff that is not correct. So yeah, dismissed is what I would go for, please.
Thank you for being here. Colleagues, any questions for those 2 persons who testified? Hearing and seeing none, we're ready. It's now time for our action. Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Annie Gillen violated public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Questions, colleagues? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you. With regard to item 71, I'll assume our investigators report still stands. Thank you for nodding your head in the affirmative. Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Rob Ladd violated provisions of public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Thank you. The administrator will call the roll. Item number 71, please.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Item number 72, assume the investigator's report will stand as given. Mr. Thompson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the commission find the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that John Harvey has violated public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
The administrator will call the roll, please. Item number 72.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Colleagues, item number 73, assuming the investigator's report stands as given. Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Michael Gregory has violated provisions in public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
Administrator will call the roll, please. Item 73.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you. We will now turn to item 74. The investigator's report will stand as given. Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I move the commission find that the complaint and information available during preliminary review appears to be insufficient to constitute a substantial objective basis for believing that Joel Ramon has violated provisions in public meetings law or warrant further review, and that this complaint be dismissed.
The administrator will call the roll, please.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you, colleagues. The individuals, Ms. Gilliland and Mr. Ladd, thank you for being here and for your patience with our agenda today. As you've heard, I'm assuming from our standpoint, all these matters involving you and your colleagues have been dismissed. Thank you for your patience today.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, colleagues, we have one more.
Okay, so we're gonna, thank you.
Yeah, you can
Dismiss.
remove them from the
Okay.
process, and we're now moving to the last item on the executive session agenda today, which is a matter involving Mr. Adam Watkins, who is going to be appearing on
So-
Teams.
Mr. Watkins has communicated with us.
Okay.
I left him on there just in case. It sounds like he's traveling, so he probably won't be here if he's not here right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move to item number 75, and that is Investigator Josh Sullivan. Please, your report.
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair Fiscum and Commission. This is Investigator Josh Sullivan for the record. I'm presenting agenda item number 75. This is a complaint against Adam Watkins, Superintendent of the Blatchley School District in Lane County, Oregon. The complainant in this case alleges that Mr. Watkins may have violated Oregon government ethics law by participating in the hiring, employment, and supervision of his relatives at the Blatchley School District. ORS 244040 subsection 1 prohibits a public official from using or attempting to use their official position or office to obtain a financial gain or avoid a financial detriment for themselves, their relatives, or their household members, or any business which they, their relatives, or household members are associated if the financial gain or avoidance of financial detriment would not otherwise be available but for holding of their official position or office. In this case, it appears that Adam Watkins was working as the superintendent of the school district when the need for a contracted online counselor position was identified. A service contract was prepared and Mr. Watkins' wife, Stephanie, was selected. It appears Ms. Watkins was the only person contacted about filling the position and that this position was not made available to the general public. Because Mr. Watkins discussed the creation of the independent contractor position and then appears to have reached out to his wife to fill the position, Mr. Watkins was met with an actual conflict of interest and appears to have used his position to create an opportunity for the financial gain of his relative. Also, while acting in his official capacity, Mr. Watkins approved payments for Ms. Watkins' contract services between September 21 and July 2023, which resulted in a financial benefit to his wife, including a $34,000 purchase order for Ms. Watkins' counseling services in May of 2023. Mr. Watkins appears to have disclosed the conflict in writing to the board chair at the time of Ms. Watkins' initial contract selection, but he did not disclose his conflicts of interest in writing each of the 22 instances where he approved invoices for Ms. Watkins. On each occasion, it appears Mr. Watkins engaged in a prohibited use of office and that he had an actual conflict of interest. Because Mr. Watkins was an independent contractor and because he did not hire or directly supervise Ms. Watkins, the nepotism statutes do not apply in this instance. It should be noted that during the preliminary review period, Mr. Watkins submitted 8 letters of support from district employees via email to commission staff. Staff discovered 4 instances where statements were added to the letters and signatures appeared to be moved after the letters were sent to Mr. Watkins before they were received by commission staff. The authors of these letters stated they did not give Mr. Watkins permission to change their letters, while Mr. Watkins stated he did have permission to make these changes. Based on the information available in this preliminary review, there appears to be a substantial objective basis to believe Mr. Watkins violated ORS 244040 subsection 1, the prohibited use of office provision, and ORS 244120 subsection 1, the conflict of interest provision. The recommendation is to move this case to investigation.
Thank you, investigator. Any questions from commissioners for our investigator's report? Hearing and seeing none, it was stated earlier that Mr. Watkins is not appearing before us today in either by phone or Teams. So now is the time for us to discuss what actions to take on this matter before us. Any comments from commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, is there a motion that somebody is willing to make? Mr. Thompson, please.
Mr. Chair, I hereby move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Adam Watkins may have violated ORS Chapter 244040 Sub 1 and ORS 244120 Sub 1 Sub C, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions for Commissioner Thompson and comments on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, the administrator will call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Newell,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fiscum.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you. Colleagues, I'll look for direction from our director. That completes the executive session agenda for today. So thank you for your patient participation. We will now declare a recess for somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes before we refer back to the public session. Any questions?
Vice Chair, Commissioner Burke, that's his.
Oh, Commissioner Burke,
Yeah,
I apologize for missing your hand.
Oh,
Thank
no,
you.
no, you're fine. Mr. Chair, thank you very much. I indicated in the email last week that because of where I am, I'm in Minneapolis right now. I'm dealing with a family health emergency that I may not be able to attend the meeting at all, but I was able to attend part of it. But I do have to leave and be somewhere at 1:15. And I think you still have quorum and you still have the ability to act. So I want to apologize for having to leave early. I have a perfect attendance this term, so I'm sorry to have to leave early, but I really have to go. So I want to thank you for your indulgence, and God bless you, and I look forward to working with you all soon.
Thank you, Commissioner Burke, and we'll be thinking of you as you deal with this reality for you in the Midwest. So thank you for attending this morning. We appreciate your diligence.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Okay, we're on executive session is now adjourned and we're on recess for between 5 or 10 minutes.